Welcome back to Gun Sage. Pull up a chair and settle in, because today we are having a very serious, highly detailed conversation about a profound paradigm shift currently taking place within the American Armory. For the past 3 decades, the prevailing wisdom in the tactical community has relentlessly pushed the compact, polymer striker-fired handgun and the ubiquitous modern sporting rifle as the absolute unquestioned rulers of personal defense. Those platforms have certainly earned their place through proven utility and widespread adoption. But if you look closely at the collections of seasoned protectors, military veterans, and the mechanical purists who truly understand the grim realities of home defense, you will notice a deliberate return to a time-tested platform. We are witnessing a quiet but massive resurgence of the defensive shotgun. This is not some fleeting trend driven by empty nostalgia, nor is it a stubborn refusal to adapt to modern times. Rather, it is a calculated embrace of advanced metallurgy, modernized operating systems, and the uncompromising, devastating authority that only a 12-gauge or heavily optimized sub-gauge can deliver. Whether you are enjoying a hard-earned retirement and require a reliable defensive tool that will not punish arthritic shoulders, a mechanical purist who appreciates the tight tolerances of milled steel, or a dedicated family protector looking for the ultimate overwatch tool, this examination is for you. We are going to completely dismantle the engineering, the historical context, and the real-world tactical applications of 7 mechanical masterpieces that are defining the modern era. Before we begin our descent into the mechanics, I ask that you take a brief moment to subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing, but it ensures we can continue preserving the heritage and dissecting the mechanics of the firearms world without bowing to fleeting internet trends. Occupying the number 7 position on our list is a highly unorthodox platform that systematically solves a very specific physical problem inherent to defensive shotguns. We are examining the Kel-Tec KSG 410. Historically, the engineers at Kel-Tec have operated on the absolute bleeding edge of unconventional geometry. When they first introduced the original 12-gauge KSG bullpup, it offered an incredibly compact footprint and massive onboard capacity. However, the unforgiving laws of physics dictated that firing heavy 12-gauge payloads out of a lightweight polymer-heavy bullpup resulted in a profoundly punishing recoil impulse. For our older demographic, or those dealing with joint inflammation and diminished physical stature, it was simply too brutal for sustained training. The brilliant solution was to completely scale down that proven dual-tube architecture to capitalize on the recent ballistic renaissance of the 410 bore. In recent years, ammunition manufacturers have engineered highly optimized defensive loads for the 410, utilizing copper-plated projectiles and specialized wads that deliver massive kinetic energy transfer and deep, vital-reaching penetration without the shoulder-bruising violence of a standard 12-gauge. By chambering the KSG for this specific cartridge, Kel-Tec has created a platform that generates virtually zero felt recoil. Mechanically, the twin parallel magazine tubes hold 5 shells each, plus 1 in the chamber, granting the user 11 rounds of immediate capability in a package that measures exactly 26.1 inches in overall length. Because the action and the ammunition sit entirely behind the trigger group, resting firmly in the pocket of your shoulder. The center of gravity is completely shifted to the rear. This allows the user to hold the firearm at the low ready, or maintain a sight picture down a dark hallway for extended periods while waiting for law enforcement to arrive, completely eliminating the left arm fatigue common with traditional front-heavy shotguns. Weighing a mere 5.4 pounds, it is effortless to maneuver. The manual of arms does require dedicated, repetitive practice, as the shooter must manually actuate a mechanical selector lever to switch magazine tubes once the first run's dry, and the rearward loading gate demands fine motor skills. However, with a highly accessible street price of roughly $450, the KSG 410 stands as a brilliantly engineered, uncompromising defensive tool tailored perfectly for inclusive, whole family defense. Moving to number 6, we transition from the compact world of the bullpup to a platform that deliberately disrupts the traditional tubular feeding system to solve the historical curse of the magazine-fed shotgun. For generations, the concept of an AR-style 12-gauge was hindered by insurmountable mechanical flaws. Traditional gas-operated box magazine shotguns were notoriously unreliable. The heavy carbon fouling from shotgun powder, combined with plastic wads physically melting and shaving into the gas ports, would rapidly choke the weapon, resulting in catastrophic feeding and extraction failures. They were relegated to the status of range novelties, entirely unfit for serious defensive duty. The engineers behind the Genesis Arms Gen 12 looked back at the foundational ordnance designs of Eugene Stoner and recognized that to make a 12-gauge work flawlessly from a box magazine, they had to abandon the gas system entirely. The Gen 12 operates on a meticulously tuned short-recoil system. When the weapon is fired, the barrel and the bolt remain locked together and physically travel rearward inside the upper receiver for a short distance before unlocking. Because there are absolutely no gas ports to foul, the internal mechanisms remain exceptionally clean, allowing the weapon to cycle through hundreds of rounds of high-brass buckshot or heavy slugs without a single drop of lubrication or a momentary stutter. Milled from solid blocks of aerospace-grade 7075 T6 billet aluminum, the receiver set mirrors the exact manual of arms of America's standard modern sporting rifle. The safety selector, the magazine release, and the charging handle are exactly where your muscle memory expects them to be. This drastically flattens the learning curve for any veteran or citizen already proficient with the AR platform. At 8.2 pounds empty, it is a substantial piece of machinery, and the physical balance of the weapon shifts noticeably when a fully loaded box magazine is locked into the magwell. That mass, however, is structurally necessary to absorb the violent rearward energy of rapid 12-gauge fire, commanding a premium retail price hovering around $2,100 to $2,200. The Gen 12 requires a significant financial commitment. Yet for the tactical practitioner who demands surgical precision, rapid rifle-style magazine exchanges, and a system that refuses to foul under sustained fire, it is an undeniable masterpiece of modern machining. Stepping into our number 5 spot, we examine a firearm that proves traditional manual actions can still be mechanically refined to overcome human error under extreme stress. We are talking about the Winchester SXP Defender. The Winchester namesake is woven directly into the historical fabric of the American frontier in the brutal trenches of early 20th century warfare. The SXP, which stands for Super X Pump, carries that heavy heritage forward by evolving the esteemed Model 1300 and integrating a brilliant inertia-assisted action. The absolute heart of this platform is a meticulously machined 4-lug rotary bolt that provides a vault-like, incredibly strong lockup directly into the barrel extension, safely containing the extreme chamber pressures generated by modern defensive magnum loads. The mechanical genius of the SXP lies in what happens the millisecond the firing pin strikes the primer. The rearward kinetic energy of the expanding gases physically forces the rotary bolt to unlock, and that rearward inertia initiates the backward stroke of the foreign for you. For anyone who has ever experienced the physical fatigue of running a heavy pump gun during a long training class, or worse, suffered the catastrophic failure of short-stroking the action under the adrenaline dump of a high-stress encounter, this mechanical assist is profound. The shotgun essentially begins the ejection and cycling process autonomously. Because the receiver is crafted from a high-strength aluminum alloy, the weapon maintains a nimble profile, weighing roughly 6.5 pounds. This lightweight nature makes it incredibly fast to transition between targets in confined spaces, though it must be noted that it will transfer the recoil impulse more directly to the shooter's shoulder compared to heavier, all-steel firearms. Featuring a hard chromed bore in chamber for superior corrosion resistance and longevity, and frequently found on dealer shelves in the very approachable $320 range, the SXP is a time-tested, budget-conscious guardian. It perfectly bridges the gap between the rugged simplicity of a manual action and the blistering speed of an autoloader. Continuing our examination at number 4, we journey across the globe to the birthplace of European mechanical precision to analyze a firearm built purely for blistering, uncompromising speed. The Beretta 1301 Tactical Mod 2 is the direct descendant of generations of competitive clay and 3-gun mastery, aggressively refined for the austere realities of personal protection. The Beretta corporate lineage spans nearly 5 centuries, originating with barrel making in Gardone Valtrompia. That incredibly deep institutional knowledge is fully realized in their proprietary B-Link gas operating system. This system utilizes a brilliant split ring valve that seals the gas cylinder with such exact, uncompromising efficiency that it allows the gun to cycle a documented 36% faster than standard semi-automatic actions on the commercial market. The mechanical cycle rate of the 1301 physically outpaces the human ability to manipulate the trigger. An experienced shooter can empty the entire 7-round magazine tube before the first ejected plastic hull even touches the ground. But raw speed without structural control is a massive liability in a defensive scenario. The Mod 2 introduces heavily upgraded aggressive texturing on the polymer forend and stock, firmly anchoring the weapon to the shooter's hands even when operating in adverse wet conditions. It features a flattened pro lifter that remains entirely out of your way during frantic, high-stress reloads, completely eliminating the risk of thumb bite. The trigger mechanism has been overhauled with a flattened tactical profile that breaks cleanly and crisply at roughly 4.5 pounds, offering the surgical precision required for accurate slug placement at distance. For our older viewers, the B-Link system acts as a highly tuned internal shock absorber, bleeding off the violent energy of high brass buckshot and delivering a remarkably soft, manageable recoil impulse. While the multi-step disassembly process is inherently more complex than a simple pump action, and the slim polymer forend can become uncomfortably hot to the touch, during sustained firing schedules, the 1301 remains an absolute engineering triumph. Commanding a premium street price of roughly $1,700, it perfectly balances elegant Italian craftsmanship with ruthless, violent, tactical efficiency. Breaking into our top 3, we must acknowledge the undisputed heavy-duty standard of the combat shotgun world, a firearm whose legend was forged in the absolute harshest environments on the planet. I am speaking, of course, about the magnificent Benelli M4. In the late 1990s, the United States Marine Corps issued a massive procurement solicitation for a new joint service combat shotgun. They demanded a platform that could survive absolute environmental devastation. The test protocols required the shotguns to endure prolonged exposure to freezing snow, fine abrasive desert particulate, and highly corrosive saltwater spray, all while firing tens of thousands of heavy magnum rounds without a single catastrophic mechanical failure. The commercial entries were systematically destroyed by these tests, but the Benelli M4 completely dominated them. The secret to its absolute, unquestionable longevity is the auto-regulating gas-operated system, widely known as the ARGO system. This is a masterclass in elegant mechanical simplicity. It utilizes dual, self-cleaning stainless steel pistons positioned just forward of the chamber to drive the bolt directly. By eliminating the need for complex, fragile action bars and heavy linkages, Benelli drastically reduced the number of moving parts that could potentially break or bind under stress. Weighing nearly 8 pounds empty, the heavy Parkerized steel and high-density polymer construction acts as a massive physical dampener against felt recoil. The ARGO system is so brilliantly tuned that it will flawlessly feed and cycle anything from low-recoil tactical buckshot to maximum dram, shoulder bruising, hunting slugs without ever requiring the user to manually turn a gas adjustment dial. It is true that the substantial physical weight can induce significant arm fatigue during prolonged low ready holds, and the bottom loading gate is notoriously stiff out of the factory box, requiring a distinct break-in period to prevent thumbnail pinching during rapid combat reloads. However, with a street price hovering rigidly around $2,150, you are not just buying a firearm, you are acquiring a literal blue-chip asset for your vault. It is a time-tested, uncompromising tool that offers the quiet prestige and absolute ironclad peace of mind that comes from owning the exact same weapon trusted by the United States Armed Forces. Just missing our top spot today. At number 2, we have a brilliantly engineered pump action that recognized a massive shift in defensive ammunition and adapted its internal geometry so perfectly that it changed the entire landscape of the market. This is the Mossberg 590S. The standard Mossberg 590 lineage possesses a heavily decorated, blood-proven history, standing proudly as the only pump-action shotgun to ever completely pass the brutal, unforgiving mil-spec 3443 I endurance protocols. To pass that test, a shotgun must endure 3,000 rounds of full-power buckshot while being repeatedly dropped, baked, and frozen, all while maintaining perfect functionality. But the designers at Mossberg astutely observed the rapidly rising popularity of the 1 3/4-inch mini shell. These shortened shells are a ballistic revelation for home defense, offering a mere fraction of the felt recoil, drastically reducing the indoor concussive blast, and allowing the user to fit almost twice as much ammunition directly into the standard magazine tube. Historically, the glaring mechanical flaw was that running these tiny shells reliably required the installation of small, aftermarket rubber adapters into the receiver. This introduced an unacceptable point of potential mechanical failure for a defensive tool. The Mossberg 590S entirely eliminated this vulnerability by completely redesigning the internal elevator, the bumper, and the bolt slide. This precise geometric overhaul allows the shotgun to natively and flawlessly cycle standard 2 3/4-inch shells, powerful 3-inch magnums, and the specialized mini shells completely interchangeably. You can load them into the tube in any randomized order that you wish, and the dual extractors and twin action bars will cycle them with absolute authority. This offers unprecedented ammunition flexibility. You can confidently load heavy buckshot for your own use, and seamlessly switch to low-recoil mini shells so a younger family member or a senior citizen can train comfortably without developing a flinch. Featuring a heavy-walled barrel designed to rapidly dissipate heat during high-volume training, and boasting Mossberg's signature ambidextrous tang safety mounted intuitively on top of the receiver, it is a masterclass in ergonomic design. While the factory action can feel slightly unpolished before a proper break-in period, and the price point sits around $650, the 590S represents the ultimate mechanical adapter, granting massive capacity without sacrificing a single ounce of its military-grade heritage. And finally, we arrive at the absolute pinnacle of our list. The #1 position belongs to a firearm that best embodies the gun sage philosophy of historical reverence, uncompromising structural integrity, and pure American heritage. It is the firearm that established the very definition of the modern pump action, suffered a tragic corporate decline, and has now violently reclaimed its rightful throne. Our #1 defensive shotgun is the newly revitalized Remington 870 Fieldmaster Tactical. When the original 870 was introduced in 1950, it instantly became the global benchmark for pump action reliability, standing watch in millions of patrol cars and homes across the country. However, under the previous Freedom Group corporate ownership, the brand suffered a highly publicized and deeply disappointing era of diminished quality control, plagued by poor finishes and fragile injection-molded parts. But the newly restructured Remington Arms has executed a spectacular, uncompromising return to form. The new Fieldmaster Tactical is not a product of hollow marketing or empty nostalgia. It is a mechanical resurrection. The engineers threw out the cost-cutting measures and returned to the foundational blueprint that made the gun a legend. The receiver is not cast from lightweight, cheaper aluminum alloys. It is meticulously milled from a solid 8-pound block of ordnance-grade steel. That thick, unyielding steel receiver provides a reassuring, immovable heft in the hands that absorbs the violent shockwave of a 12-gauge shell with an authority that alloy receivers simply cannot replicate. The internal twin action bars are heavily and deliberately polished at the factory, resulting in a remarkably smooth, buttery pump stroke that glides with mechanical perfection straight out of the box. The exterior is treated with a modernized, deeply rich protective finish that aggressively fights off oxidation and the corrosive sweat of human hands. Yes, it is significantly heavier than its aluminum-framed contemporaries, weighing in at roughly 7.5 pounds empty, and the pump stroke demands a deliberate, forceful manipulation to cycle properly. But at a street price of approximately $550, it is an absolute revelation in the modern market. It perfectly harmonizes deep historical significance with tightened, highly modernized manufacturing tolerances. The milled steel 870 is a rugged, heirloom-quality defensive tool designed not just to outlast their current decade, but to be passed down through generations with absolute pride. It is the undisputed king of the American gun safe, reclaimed, rebuilt, and restored to its rightful glory. The profound evolution of the defensive shotgun we have explored today is a testament to the enduring nature of sound mechanical engineering. From the meticulously tuned short-recoil innovation of the Gen 12 to the heavy, uncompromising steel heritage of the 870 Fieldmaster, these platforms prove unequivocally that the scattergun is not a dusty relic relegated to the back of the safe. Through brilliant advancements in metallurgy, highly efficient gas regulation, and unprecedented ammunition versatility, the modern shotgun has cemented its role as a highly refined, surgical instrument of protection that demands immediate respect. Now, I turn the conversation over to you, the experienced members of this community. I want to hear your real-world insights down in the comments section. Which of these uncompromising platforms do you trust the absolute most to stand watch over your family in the dead of night? Are there specific historical models, specialized defensive loads, or mechanical nuances that you rely on in your own armory? The deepest, most practical knowledge always stems from the collective, hard-earned experience of this community, so please contribute your perspective. If you value this level of meticulous, heavily researched, documentary-style analysis, ensure you hit the like button and are actively subscribed to the channel. Your continued dedication allows us to ignore the algorithm-driven clickbait and keep bringing you the unfiltered, mechanical truth about the firearms we trust with our lives. Remain vigilant, honor your history, and we will see you in the next assessment.